Hans Wormhat. Send this video to people who believe in volcanoes. Volcanoes are a big psyop on the people, and it's used to sell the ball earth lie. You don't live on a spinning, flying ball hurling through nothingness, vacuum of space, with a molten core, like a candy center, like a liquid center to a piece of candy or something. That's not where you live. It's Fantasyland. They can get you to believe in whatever. And the way that they get you to believe in this stuff is just by presenting you with a bunch of BS, and you eat it up and your brain just runs wild with it. That's just part of the way that the human mind works. It fills in the gaps. You can suspend your disbelief even if these things don't make sense, and even if all they're sending you is a bunch of cartoon imagery, people will eat it up. And I mean, look at this. Where's the lava? What is this thing with ash? Okay, volcanoes are supposed to be like this pool of magma under the surface that is pressure and it's gonna erupt. That's what allegedly is causing these explosions, right? Okay, so what's the deal with ash? Why is it always a bunch of ash? Why not lava? During the eruptions, they talk nonstop about ash. Everything is ash. What does that have to do with magma? I really don't understand the whole ash aspect. But that's one of the biggest things. People are like, how do you not believe in volcanoes? I live in Washington, and when Mount St. Helens erupted, there was ash everywhere. Okay, was there lava everywhere? Was lava just flooding out? Think of all the movies about the end of the world. Were there giant rivers of lava tumbling down the mountainside and gobbling up cities? No. A mountain blew up and a bunch of ash flew in the air. What about that is a volcano? Where's the lava? Volcano from space. They got to talk about outer space all the time when it's not even relevant. How is this from space? You can see that this isn't that high up. Outer space is not real. Part of their magic is constantly keeping these things in your mind. Oh, oops, this is not relevant. I don't know how this slide got in here. It's just another topic I talk about. Great apes are just humans in fursuits. Okay, where's the lava? If this is like, I don't know, they describe it like it's a pimple type thing on the surface of Earth and it's just waiting there ready to pop and erupt with lava. Where is the lava? That is a mountain that they blew up. They do this stuff for mining all the time. Go watch mining videos where they blow up huge amounts of land with TNT. That's all that's going on here. They are blowing up a mountain and calling it a volcanic eruption. Where is the lava? The only lava that you can see in real life is like Disneyland. And you got to go all the way to Hawaii or some other remote place to see it. And all it is glass. It's a dirty type of glass that is human made, and it's Disneyland. They're selling you Disneyland. I don't know. People will have to tell me how it used to be in like way in the past. I don't think that they used to do this much in the past, because nowadays you can find YouTube videos of just they're dumping tons of this low grade glass into the ocean. Do any of my viewers who have been around for a long time, did they do this in the 50s? Can you find a bunch of footage of in the 50s just tons of lava being poured into the ocean? Lava, molten glass. I'd be interested to see how often they did this stuff in the 50s. They'll tell you the truth too, how volcanoes form glass. The story that they tell you is that Earth is supposed to come from volcanic type activities, but you're not going to get dirt or stones out of a volcano. Go pick up a river rock and really look at a river rock. That did not come from a volcano. And volcanoes, today's volcanoes, think Hawaii, they don't create something like a rock. They create more like a glass. And it's because that's what it is. It's glass. Look, that's not Earth. That's blight. This is a wasteland. That's not Earth. Volcanoes don't create Earth. Look at this. It's a wasteland, and it's human-made. They're just dumping large amounts of disgusting glass all over the place. If you've ever known anybody who went to Hawaii and visited these fields, they'll tell you about how it's sharp as glass. And that's because it is glass. They tell you that this type of thing comes from volcanoes. That's bullshit. This and this are totally different. And they'll just tell you, oh, it's like magma that cooled over millions of. They make up BS. How do you corroborate that? That is not science. That is some person's insane theory that has nothing to back it up. How can they tell you about a process that takes millions of years to happen when what's their lifespan? How can they study something that allegedly takes millions and millions of years and that happened millions and millions of years in the past? Do you see how ludicrous it is? Faith-based belief when people believe what scientists tell them. Completely faith-based. And the stories are fantastical. It's sci-fi. They're selling you sci-fi. Rocks don't melt at all. Okay, there are some people out in the wild sometimes who shout the truth out, but it'll be like one comment among thousands and it gets buried and the people get berated. But I found this comment on a video. Rocks don't melt at all. This video of all the earth science, all of the earth science videos like it are hoax nonsense. Lava is created myth that is part of the spinning globe model of the earth. In reality, the earth is flat. Yep. So unless you specifically want volcanic glasses to work with, I found this as a part of a comment on a Quora article of can rocks melt? Because the true answer is that rocks cannot melt. If you go find a nice river rock, you cannot melt that down into something that resembles lava. That is a fantasy that they sell you. That lava is like a rock that is melted. That is fantasy. You cannot melt a river rock. At least we can't. God can do anything, but that's besides the point. Like, that's how did the rocks get here? God probably just made them. I really don't have an answer for how rocks came to be. They definitely didn't come from. I mean, again, just think of a river rock. Do you really believe that came from like lava melting and then what being ground down into that shape? Really doesn't make any sense. Oh, can rocks melt? Volcanoes, they're just dirt piles. These are ant hills. The people who control us, they have extensive underground bases. They do a lot of tunneling. They have all sorts of, I mean, I could get into the coal industry is all underground. They just make it from charcoal. They do it underground in these big caverns that they've dug out, man-made caverns. Extensive underground networks. And look at what ants have to do. Ants have extensive underground networks. That dirt has to go somewhere. It goes above the surface somewhere, and it looks like a volcano. We know from movies that evil people have their bases inside of volcanoes. That's a truth in plain sight. They tell you the truth. The evil people have bases underground, and the volcanoes are like an entrance exit point, or it's at least where they've been dumping a bunch of dirt above the ground. And some of these could be very old, from before Noah's flood. I've personally been to Mount Vesuvius, and it's just a dirt pile. They have a few points where they have these tubes that are pumping out gas, like a little bit of smoke. It's ridiculous. Disneyland attraction. And even when you're there, you can feel that it's a bunch of nonsense. You're like, this doesn't feel special. This doesn't feel real. And it's because it's just a pile of dirt. Yeah, you really think that there's still going to be teeth there? Like, look at this. This is an art project. The Pompeii thing is a big hoax. It's just a bunch of art projects. Ancient Pompeii had great dental health. What are you looking at? You looking at real life? So the type of stuff. Is that real life? No, it's a painting. You can see that. You can see it's a painting because when volcanoes erupt on the news, it's nothing but ash. It's nothing but giant piles of ash. You never ever see it like this, lava cascading down the side. That's only artistic renditions and in just the movies, video games, movies. If you go to Hawaii, it's not even like this. If you go to Hawaii, what it is, they'll have a hole in the ground and it's roped off around, and the people herd around like a Disneyland attraction, and it's a pool of molten glass. Or they just have a tube that's just shooting out molten glass into the ocean, and you can go take a tour ride. Again, it's like Disney boat tour. You go to the place where they're pumping out glass into the ocean, and take your pictures. Not real life. Why do they have all these fake images? Because it's fake. It's the same thing with, go look at satellites. Go type in satellites to Google. Why is it all CGI and cartoons? It's because they're selling you a sci-fi fantasy. It's a Barnum and Bailey world, just as phony as it can be, but it wouldn't be make-believe if you believed in me. This is what they do. They, the controllers, the Masons, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call it, the people who control the narrative, they get off on having people live in a fantasy land. They want you to believe in nonsense. And they tell us that their campaign is complete when everything you believe is a lie. And we're already there. Everybody believes just nonsense, lives in a fantasy land. It's not real life. It really is laughable when you think back. Like, man, they just kept drilling this into our heads. That's the only way that they got us to believe this nonsense, because nothing about it made any sense. The only way they got us to believe was through just repetition over and over and over and over and over again, and shaming people who dare question. Hot springs, I just posted 2 videos of mine from the past, and you should check them out. Hot springs are a hoax. This was definitely a Mason who posted this video. I just found this video a few years ago when I was researching this stuff. A 33-second long video. And they admit it. Hot Springs, Arkansas's hot spring scam. Hot water ran out years ago. This is just for fun. I mean, the truth is that there never was natural hot water. They just heat the water and then they pump it 100 feet. And then they sell you some story about underwater activity or underground geological activity. This was a really interesting thing from another one of my videos that I found a few years ago. This was a job application for a full-time mechanical technician at Old Faithful. They just want you scared. That's why they tell you the stories about, oh, Yellowstone can explode at any moment. They thrive on fear-based mind control. If you fear volcanoes, you believe in them. But once you know the truth that it's just fantasy, then they're not scary. It's a boogeyman. And that's it. The earth is flat. Jesus Christ is the Messiah. They take this volcano thing from the Bible because there are mentions of, in the Bible, Jesus comes down and mountains melt like wax. But even that, you can see melting like wax is not what a volcano is. Volcano to them, it's probably also gross ejaculation references and things like that. But, you know, more importantly, they like to play God. And Satan likes to play God. Satan is a deceiver, and Satan wants to make his own world. And that's where we live right now. But God woke us up, and I think Jesus Christ is coming back really soon. Because what happens right before the wedding ceremony is the woman, the bride, probably better to call it that, the bride lifts the veil. And that is what has happened. In 2017, there was a massive awakening. People are starting to wake up. For whatever reason, in the 90s, I just don't remember ever hearing any of this stuff about people saying, oh, volcanoes are fake, outer space is a hoax. Some people would say stuff about the moon landings not being real or anything, but I never heard those people say it's all a lie. All of outer space fantasy land is a lie. So something big happened, and I don't think there's that much time left. So just realize what's important. Going along with the crowd is not important. Making sure that people don't make fun of you for what you stand up for, that's not important. And in my opinion, everything that I've learned in the past few years has brought me to the truth that is Jesus Christ and the King James Bible. And it's all true. You live on a flat, motionless earth, and God created it this way, and you live under a firmament. And yeah, when I woke up to the flat earth thing, volcanoes just came right after that. So if you don't live on a spinning ball hurling through outer space, then the core earth doesn't make any sense. The molten core doesn't make any sense. God bless everybody.